So today I'm going to present to you a tool in the Google Cloud that does machine learning and AI, Vertex AI. Anybody heard of Vertex AI before? It's quite new, so I don't anticipate that you've heard it, but it has been rebranded. It went through many iterations over the last two, 3 years. So let's get started and see what we have here. So what is Vertex AI is a tool that provides you all the support to do a machine learning and AI workflow project end to end. We know how difficult is machine learning to do, especially if you're not using cloud tools, native tools, all that kind of stuff. So we know how what is the workflow of a machine learning project, where it starts by collecting data, cleaning data, selecting what kind of algorithm we want to choose, and having the platform where you do that. You need a lot of compute capabilities in order to do that training. It takes a long time, and it costs a lot of money as well. And it does require a lot of skills in different fields like Python, TensorFlow, all that kind of stuff. So the idea here, Vertex AI will help us to do is what we call democratizing machine learning. So you don't have to learn many months in order to get started. We give you the tools to get you started, to get a feel of what machine learning is, do your training on specific topics, specific business cases, challenges. So that's what we aim to do with this product. So we will start by what is Vertex AI. We'll talk about what datasets in machine learning projects in the Google Cloud Platform. We'll talk about models, deployments, and prediction, which is the aim of that. And we come to a topic called MLOps. I'm sure most of us here, especially if you are developers, you have DevOps, which is the best practices that you do to go develop and deploy and do iterations with applications. Here we're going to be looking at the same concept from a different standpoint in machine learning, MLOps. We're going to look at. So this is Vertex AI. It looks quite scary. Okay, there's a lot in there in that slide. So it takes you can see from all the flow from data readiness, preparing the data, do feature engineering, prepare the data for a particular machine learning, do the training, hyperparameter tuning, and then you serve the model, and then you look at understanding the tuning after that to have a look at the performance of your models, and then serve it into different areas. You can serve it into Google Cloud or locally, and then you keep monitoring. And this is where we talk about MLOps. When you deploy machine learning, it's not just it's not a one-off, because your data is always changing. So you need to retrain. You keep monitoring the performance of your machine learning model, and this is where you look at model management as well at scale. So big organization, they're not looking at doing a one-off, solving one problem. These problems can come along in a big enterprise from different areas. So you do have to do that model management from that standpoint. So you can see here the different features in here, or different products or different layers. Also, ML, we're going to talk about here. Data labeling. We have a feature there, feature store, prediction training. So there's quite a lot in there. So before we start looking at how do we use this beast of a product, let's see what options have we got, in order to do machine learning in the cloud or in Google Cloud. And that goes through like a decision tree. So this is a really good decision tree to go through. How do I start with machine learning? First of all, any machine learning project, you're going to need data, and your results or your performance of your machine learning is as good as your data. The more data you have, the quality of your data, you expect to have a good performance machine learning model. Okay, so in those situations where you don't have your models, Google have done a lot of work. We know Google have a lot of data, so they prepared something for us. So this project where you go from preparing data, do hyperparameter tuning, do feature engineering, and go through all selecting machine learning, go through the iteration through multiple models and the rest of it, that's all done already. So the data has been prepared for you. So there are many use cases, many areas where you just want the prediction. And Google have prepared for us many things that you can just ask for the prediction based on multiple areas that we're going to talk about in a second. Now, if you have data, your own data in there, in that case, you've got a couple of options in there. You will be either writing your model from scratch. You go through end to end, as you would expect, the painful process, the iteration for machine learning. Or if you're not an expert in machine learning, in writing code, right? There is a codeless solution in GCP, which is in Google Cloud, which is AutoML. And AutoML builds on the pre-trained APIs that Google prepared. And basically, you will be able to bring your own data, transfer that knowledge from the pre-trained API, load your data, and the AutoML product will train based on your data. There's many models. It's going to train, it's going to give you the best results out of which model is best performant for your particular use case. I'm going to have a look at a couple examples where pre-trained API is not going to be suitable for your particular use case, and you move on to AutoML after that. Now, if you are that machine learning engineer, you've got that advanced coding expertise like Python and TensorFlow, all kind of stuff, and you're happy to take control from your project end to end, then Vertex AI is the platform where you have all the environments already optimized for you to be able to do that. And we know Google, they've been doing machine learning and AI for the last 2 decades. I mean, if you look at the Google data products, how many services do you know for Google? How many? All right. Google Drive, Gmail, right? YouTube. Yeah, Google Photos. So, yes. Yeah, lots of them. So all those kinds of stuff, if you ask me, where does Google use machine learning on those? On all of them. They use machine learning on all these products that they have. And if you look at that, now Google, they have like about 10 applications that are over 1 billion users. You know, you look at YouTube, Gmail, Google Search, and you look at the statistics. YouTube, actually, you have the latest figures, 2 billion users, huge amount of. So that platform where they have all these data centers and all the environments where they run their machine learning at scale, you go to YouTube and you get recommendation online. YouTube is a recommendation system. You watch a video and all of a sudden you get a list of videos there and then based on your experience. So it gives you that personalized experience. And that's because they run machine learning all the time. You know, every person is different. So the point I want to make here, that the very same platform that Google have optimized to do their own machine learning at scale, it's available for us through Vertex AI. So the underlying infrastructure, the environment where you can run TensorFlow, which is, again, it is a Google technology as well. It's an open source. It's available for us on Vertex AI, like we're going to see. Okay, so the pre-trained APIs. So what Google have for us in here. So few of the things that they give you predictions straight away. So you got Cloud Vision API, video intelligence, and some of them you already see them in action. We just don't realize it's machine learning. You go to YouTube and you will find you can transcribe voice into text, and that's machine learning. You go to Google Translate, that's machine learning. Many things in there, and Google, they made this available for you. So if you have an application, you want to translate text, you call the Google Cloud Translation API, and it does the translation for you. You're gonna have an endpoint where you can translate based on things like that. So you can combine those. You can use the Cloud Vision API, for example, from and many kind of phones, they already use that. You take Samsung Note, I think. You can take a picture. It can pick up the text from that in any language, translate it for you, and then they use the speech to text or text to speech to get the phone to speak to you what's written on that sign or whatever in your own language. So you can combine all these things in there. So let me show you, for example, the Vision API. If I can get to see here. So if I go out. can't see it's very small here, but to the top one there. I think it's better if so I can upload an image. It's better if I can do this now. That's right. So from this page, for example, I'm just calling that API, the Vision API, to analyze this image for me, classify it for me. So it did realize that I've got so many faces in here. You can see, it can realize, okay, how happy they are, if they are angry, if they're sad. So it does pick up all the images in there. And then you can find out here, okay, what kind of, can't see here, the objects they are in there, labels, all the labels that these images have been labeled with. And the most important one, if you look at this safe search. So imagine you are school, university, enterprise company, got hundreds of images that you want to upload. Now you don't expect somebody to be there 8 hours a day analyzing thousands of images, trying to find out if they are safe to be uploaded to a public website. So you can call the API and classify those if there is any kind of racy or adult material in them that shouldn't be. Oh, yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Which API is this?
Sorry?
Which API, which Google?
This is the Vision API. Yeah, so that's the Cloud Vision API. So you just made the call to that. And if you notice here, if I pick up something else here, if I can. Now, these tabs at the top, if I pick up this image, for example. So now, all of a sudden, you look at these tabs, and then it realizes it's a landmark. This is somewhere in Germany, I believe. So it gives you the Google map associated with this. You know, where is that town or landmark, the objects, any text written on these images, and you know, the classification, if there is anything in there. So this kind of Vision API, it does classify for you, find any logos, text. So it's an OCR tool. So, you know, if you have those hundreds, thousands of images, you call that, and it does classification for you. So you can imagine there's also a video intelligence. So you give it a video, and it will analyze it for you. It will see where these scenes have been taken, what objects we can see in that video, the postcode, what was taken this area, what it is, and things like that. So you can imagine the power of that if you have like analyzing security surveillance videos, for example, and you want to analyze that. You feed that to those videos that you have that you collected from your security cameras that you've recorded, and it analyzes them for you. So this kind of stuff that you get with. So similarly with similar with the natural language API. So natural language it analyzes your text. It gives you like sentiment analysis. So if I call the API and I've got a feedback about my product, I don't know, we bought coffee from Tim Hortons and we didn't like it. And you know, how many people are buying coffee from them? And then on their mobile app, they're sending this feedback to them. So, you know, they probably have thousands of this over the Middle East. So you have to employ somebody to analyze that feedback. So natural language API, you can feed that feedback and it will analyze it for you. It will give you what kind of, was it good feedback or a bad feedback? And then you can classify that as well. So if it's a good feedback, that's fine. Maybe you have a workflow where you can send that to your PR team so they can use it for their PR campaign in the future. But if it's something serious and somebody is giving a bad feedback about your company, you don't want to leave it there for 1 week and everybody is seeing it. You want to feed that to your customer service so they contact the customer there and then, rectify the situation. So you basically have action in there. So we help you do those business decision actions to improve your business. So this kind of stuff that they are available for you. So you don't have to write any code. Okay, when you move to stuff that is more customizable. So we've seen in there, you can, for example, detect, for example, clouds. You know, I can give images of clouds, and it can tell me this is a cloud, this is a tree, this is. But it's not going to tell me. Let's say I'm in a field where I have to do some kind of weather prediction, and weather prediction, we know it's based on the type of clouds. Okay, so I give it. You know, if you Google type of clouds for weather prediction, there are different clouds, different shapes, and they have different names. So the pre-trained API is not going to give you that level of expertise. So you need to do your own stuff here. So, and this is where we go to AutoML. So AutoML will use the expertise that we use the pre-trained API, but I'm using my own data in that case. So I need to bring my images. I label them with the right, with the right names or with the right categories. And then the more I have some images, the more I have data, I will train my model, but I'm not writing any code. So AutoML, I just upload, do train, and it will train the model for me. And then if I bring new images, it will give me that prediction, that classification that I want. So you have a data set, you have models, and then you serve them from an endpoint. So the endpoint, similar to what we see with the pre-trained API, you go to a website, and this is how you serve your prediction. You give your customers an endpoint where they can upload their own data so that you give them prediction. Okay, what is this image? What is this cloud? What is this, whatever the case might be. And then you get the predictions based on that. So the AutoML is basically UA based. So you go to we're going to see an example here in the console. We're going to go through that. But other than that, if you wasn't doing that yourself, you have to write code, and it could be a complex. It could be taking weeks or months in some instances, because we know how tedious the machine learning process is. You know, you need to try many things, and that's just the nature of machine learning. It's not like you have experience or not, but it depends on the use case, the data that you have, and sometimes you have to go back and you find that all the data that you collected is not suitable for your case. So you go back and change that data, do what we call feature engineering, create new columns that your model will understand better to give you better predictions. So this is what we call data sets. So this is kind of some visuals from the AutoML from the console. So you have different categories. So you can do things with images, with structured data. Okay, so we can do things like regression, classification. You can do something with text. So we talked about the natural language API, where you can analyze image, text, feedback for customers. But that's just the normal language that we talk. I don't like this. I hate this food. Your food was terrible. This kind of stuff. So it's general English stuff. But if you go to a specialized field like medical, or you go to something that's very specific to an area like electronics, you put the terms of an electronics or a medical field that's very advanced, specific for a particular area, then natural language API is not going to understand that. So what you do, you use the AutoML natural language. So you bring your own dictionary of language, you upload that, and you train the model, yet you're not writing any code. We're going to see that we're not going to write any code. We just upload our data, and it will train the model and give us the prediction. And you have different areas like you see here: image, tabular, text, even video. So we talked about the video intelligence API. Again, if you have some specific fields, it's not going to understand, especially if you have, like, you've seen that in the medical field, in the healthcare, they use a lot of this AutoML healthcare as well. So image data sets, like I said, this is an example that I talked about, the clouds. So you can have different clouds in there. So you bring your own images, you label them, and you train your model. So when you bring your own images, your machine learning is not going to tell you this is a cloud. It's going to tell you this is whatever, Columbus or Cirrus or whatever. And from there, you can do weather predictions based on these clouds in there. Or you can do object detections from trees and things like that. For tabular data, regression and classification. So this is where you will be able to, for example, do a prediction of share prices, house prices based on some features. So if I'm doing prediction of house price, I need to know many features, like how big is the house, what is the surface, how many bedrooms. So all this information will be in a file. You upload it and you ask for the training. Next time, if I have a particular house, I'm just going to upload these features. I have this house in this area, I've got 3 bedrooms and these features that I want. How much you give me prediction for that price, this kind of stuff, without writing any code again. So again, you have text data sets as well. This is what we talked about, the auto ML earlier with the natural language API. Here you bring your own text, your own dictionary, and you train, auto ML will train that for your own field. And video also, we have object tracking with video. And okay, so for the models, obviously we build, we train, we evaluate. Again, going back to what is the right tool for us, is going to all depend on data. If we don't have our data, if we are happy with the pre-trained API, that's one way to get us started very easily. And then if we are more specific, we said auto ML, and then we have custom. And this is where even the auto ML, because we have specific fields in auto ML, is not any specific use case that we have, because sometimes our machine learning model, our machine learning problem is so complex that it have a combination of many things. It's not just about classification of how much the price of the house is or what is the image is. It might be a combination of many things that we have to have a custom model that we need to write from scratch. Okay, and this is kind of a comparison between the two using AutoML. If you have those kind of use cases, image, video, text, tabular regression. But if you have models that have mixed types of information, mixed type of challenges, this is where you're going to go, and you want to have full control over what you want to solve, and you have to use the custom model in that case. So AutoML training. So let me show you on the console here. Is that? Yes, I think I should come this way. So for you who haven't been or seen the Google Cloud Console before, this is the Cloud Console in here. And again, because Google, they run a lot of machine learning, so it customizes your console when you log in. So here it will give you the products for a particular user who based on their profile, what they've been using, which kind of services they've been using, and it will put you just those links in there. So if somebody else log into the console with their username and password, they're not going to see the same thing. So similar to YouTube, it's personalized for your own use. So here, if I go to the Vertex AI, if I go down here, or I can. So it's too small for my laptop, I couldn't see. So when so that's the Vertex AI. And here I've got my dashboards. And like I said, first thing you do, when you create a data set, this is what we're seeing. So you can do image classification with one label, with multiple labels. You can do image detection, image segmentation, or even tabular data. You can do classification. I want to see if a customer is going to buy or not buy from my store next time. Or forecasting. I want to do some forecasting of prediction of certain events or demand or something like that. And text, again, text classification, entity extraction, sentiment analysis for specific fields. And for video, you can do video action recognition, classification, object tracking. So here, I'm not doing I'm not writing any code. So when I create a data set, it will just tell me to upload where my data, where my images. So I can upload them from my computer, I can upload them from storage buckets. So I can go to storage bucket and upload images. It's over there. So I've already uploaded some images. Just for the sake of time, I'm just going to show you what a data set looks like. So here, I've uploaded these images that they are labeled. They are all in my storage bucket, and you can see this for damaged cars. Okay, so I can analyze those, and you can see I've got different parts of the cars that I've labeled. So I've got about 100 images here. So I did send the model to train. So I don't know if it's still running or not, but let me see. Yeah, it's still training. So, but again, I uploaded my images, I labeled them, and I'm sending them to train the model. So next time, what I will do, I'm just going to create an endpoint when this model finishes training, and I just upload my image and I say, is it a damaged car? This use case usually use it for companies who do compensation for insurance companies. Yeah, so they load an image and they say how much is I'm gonna give the customer back, basically. So imagine you have hundreds of cases that are gonna automate a lot of stuff within seconds rather than days and weeks to be able to do that. So this kind of stuff that you can do with these. So AutoML training, custom models. So custom models, obviously this is what I was saying. When you train your model with AutoML, then you create an endpoint to serve your customers, where similar to the pre-trained API, you load the image and then you get the predictions from that endpoint. Similar to the custom code, you have to create an endpoint to give your users to leverage and use that model there. So if you're using custom models, what we have in GCP, you have notebooks. So notebooks, they are basically those virtual machines that are already configured for you and here we call them workbench. So under workbench, so if you go to workbench, so in here, I can create a notebook. For those who are familiar with environments where I need to install whatever, Python, TensorFlow. So these are kind of specific notebooks. So otherwise, if you have machine learning engineer, you do that on your laptop. This is like a couple of days work, okay, to optimize it, install it, have all the runtimes, the framework that you need to have. So here you just select what you want, you create it, and it's ready for you. So you can then start using your custom models and train your models from there. So super, super easy to do. And they are already kind of optimized and integrated with a Git repository where you can put your code, you manage your code, and do this kind of CI/CD. In that case, it's going to be MLOps. So continuous integration, continuous development, bring in new features, train and train again. So again, you've got the integration in there. So, but in the real world, like I said, it's not just about deploying a model. Now you have to deploy a model at scale. You need to retrain. Your data is changing all the time. You're feeding that data. So you need to have a process, and this is what MLOps is about, is to help you to productionize, standardize ML systems reliably in an environment, securely, because it's not about just creating a model, getting predictions. It has to make it to production. I have to have value from it. I can spend months creating a very good model, but if it doesn't make it to a production level, that's useless. So the idea is to make them into production and leverage them with different teams. Okay, and this is what Vertex AI will help you. You have all the tools to create the pipelines, to monitor the pipelines, and then again, you have the application code. I think I've been speaking to one of you earlier, and they are in the field of legal. And I was asking, do you use AI already? He said, well, not yet, but that's the direction is gonna go at all the fields. Okay, you have to have AI in your application. So there is integration between machine learning and application development, where you'll be serving predictions for your users from your application, mobile application, desktop, whatever the case might be. And also when you are working, we talked about feature engineering, those features for a particular use case that are suitable for my particular machine learning algorithm. So those, if I'm spending so much time on them and they are suitable for me, if I'm working for a big organization, I don't want somebody else, if they need the same features, to start from scratch. So here we have a feature store. So with all the features that I'm working on, I can save them in there, so somebody else can work with them. I can share them with others. They can improve them. So to have like this collaborative work, that's going to help us to be more efficient in the organization. And like I said, the deployment model is just the beginning. The pipelines going forward is to be able to make it to production and to monitor that pipeline, because data is always changing. That's the nature of machine learning. Data, we always collect data, and we need to retrain those models, because those models, the prediction, they're going to drift by time. So the predictions are not as good as when we started. So we need to monitor, we need to retrain, we need to serve again and manage those pipelines at the scale. And Vertex AI gives you all that platform that helps you to do that. And from security perspective also, we talked a lot about security there, and there is a big misconception about in the cloud. Is my data safe in cloud? Is my data safe in the cloud? Because when you are on your own data centers, you've got a perimeter and you said, okay, I'm safe, my data, I know what it is. So what guarantees for me that in the cloud that is safe, okay? And that's a big misconception, okay? So in the cloud, you have all the tools to make your data safe. So you can, for all what you can work with a contractor and you give them full access to your data. But you can give them control where, yes, you have full access and full permissions to do whatever you want, but I can put a perimeter around my project in the cloud that you can't copy data outside. So you have an analogy similar to your physical data center. And the cloud providers, they do have these mechanisms in place because they get audited. And if they don't have those, they don't have the permission to be a public cloud provider. So those kind of things, they are in the cloud. And if you think about it, those cloud providers, either Google or AWS, they spend billions of dollars in order to pass these auditing processes they have. So they have more security than anybody, that they have their own data centers. And there is a big similarity between MLOps and DevOps. In DevOps, you have this continuous integration, continuous development. MLOps is about automatic, always monitoring the models, improving them, retraining those models, and serving predictions at the end. And that goes all through Vertex AI. You gather the data to train the model, scale and deploy the model, and streamline those pipelines, and monitor them, and retrain, and evaluate, and the rest of it. So you've got the full workflow, the full cycle, and then within one platform. Because otherwise, machine learning, what's the painful thing about machine learning is, if you don't have this repository of one single place where you do everything, usually you have one environment where you prepare your data, you copy your data and do machine learning somewhere else, do deployment somewhere else, monitoring is going to be somewhere else. But here we bring in everything into Vertex AI, which is going to be a great way to do our machine learning from end to end. And there is some kind of resources in there for you guys who want to elaborate more on the Vertex AI and how things are done in the Google Cloud platform. So that's the first part to make you understand what's Vertex AI. The second part is the practicals for those who have the laptops with them. So let me just take you to. And if there is any questions while I'm doing this, please, happy to take those now. But let me just. So what we're going to do next is Cloud Hero. which is a competition. So where I want you to go is let me see if you can see that. So if you go to this link, I'm just going to put it in there bigger. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Control. So it's this Cloud Skills Boost .google Games. Sorry, Cloud Skills Boost .google /games and then 3650. Yeah, 3650. Yeah, //3650. Sorry. Let me just bring it here, maybe in math. One second. Let me just put it here. 1 second. Quick slide here. And the so there. So it's gonna be here. So there. So Cloud Skills Boost .google /games 3650, and then you enter the code. So you need to register to that website. Join the game, and then it will ask you for the code, and that's the code. So Sorry.
Can you show me the folder?
There, sorry. It's going to be difficult to do it from the phone. You can try, but yeah, okay. And then when you join the game, there will be like games, labs to do. I'm just going to check here. And then when you join, there is 4 labs to do. So that's the first one. Are you familiar with quick labs? So when you go to one of them, you start the lab. And then you get given all the steps. So you get a username and password here. And you get this open console. So try to open it in like a Cognito window. And then you enter the username and password to get access to the platform. And then when you log into the platform, to the Google Cloud Console, you get all the steps for all of these labs. So basically, the quicker you are, the more points you get. So here you see they walk you through with explanation of the steps that you need to do to. The models are given to you to copy. And once you do that, what you will get here is you will always have this leaderboard. So we've got a few already in there. So the more you finish the steps, the more points you get. Okay. So again, let me just put back the link to the there. It's difficult. It's difficult. But the game is going to be open. So let me see how the that's it's going to be difficult. Guys, sorry, just one moment here. One of the aims of this event is to do networking and
usually there are companies here to look for talents and things. Today we've got Mr. Khalid with us here. He's got his own company for data science, data engineering. So anybody in those fields who wants to speak to him, he's here. Or feel free to get in touch with him. Looks like he's got opportunities. So he's here. Please make the opportunity, take advantage of opportunities since he's here. To speak to him. Maybe there's some openings for someone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.